Hello, my name is Carolina and I'm going to talk about stress. I'm going to divide it in four parts: signs and symptoms of stress, causes, what's stressful for you, and I'm going to be giving you some tips for dealing with stress. So, first of all, I'm going to talk about signs and symptoms of stress. So, the most thing the most dangerous thing about stress is how easily it can creep on you. You get used to it. It starts to feel familiar and even normal. You don't notice how much it's affecting you, even as it takes a heavy toll. That's why it's important to be aware of the common warning signs and symptoms of stress overload. So, there are some different kinds of stress. So, the cognitive one, the symptoms are memory problems, inability to concentrate, poor judgment, seeing only the negative, that is very common, anxious or racing thoughts, constant worrying. Now, the emotional symptoms are depression or general unhappiness, anxiety and agitation, moodiness, irritability, or anger. Also, feeling overwhelmed, loneliness, isolation, and other mental or emotional health problems. Now we have the physical symptoms. These are aches and pains, diarrhea or constipation, nausea, dizziness, chest pain, rapid heart rate, frequent colds or flu. Behavioral symptoms: eating more or less, sleeping too much or too little, withdrawing from others, procrastinating or neglecting responsibilities, using alcohol, cigarettes, or drugs to relax, which is pretty common nowadays, and also nervous habits. Now, moving on to causes of stress. The situations and pressures that cause stress are known as stressors. We usually think of stressors as being negative, such as exhausting work, a schedule, or a rocky relationship. However, anything that puts high demands on you can be stressful. For example, university, work, um, relationship, relationships, and other things. This includes positive events such as getting married, buying a house, going to college, or receiving a promotion. Of course, not all stress is caused by external factors. Stress can also be internal or self-generated. When you worry excessively about something that may or may not happen, or have irrational, pessimist thoughts about life. And finally, what causes stress depends, at least in part, on your perception of it. Something that's stressful to you may not faze someone else. They may enjoy it. While some of us are terrified or getting up in front of people to perform or to speak. For example, others live over the spotlight, where one person thrives under pressure and performs in the best of a tight deadline. Some others don't. Now, some common external causes of stress include major life changes, work or school, like I mentioned before, relationship difficulties, financial problems, being too busy, children and family. Some common internal causes of stress also include pessimism, inability to accept uncertainty, rigid thinking, lack of flexibility, negative self-talk, unrealistic expectations, perfectionist, and all or nothing attitude. So now, what you have to do is that you have to think about what's stressful for you. So for me, what's most stressful is the university, because you have lots of homeworks. You also have to create research problems, and you also have exams. So for me, like the last 3 weeks of a quarter are the worst. I suffer from gastritis, that's what I have almost every quarter at the end of it. In last quarter, I developed vertigo, and it was the worst thing ever. I didn't know that it can be caused by stress, and it was really the worst. I had to go to doctors and everything. And even though you go to doctors, if you don't handle it the right way, you cannot change it, or you cannot cancel it, to say something. It is very hard for you to know how to handle your stress, because not everyone is the same. Maybe some things that causes me stress, it won't cause you a stress. So you have to be very careful with that. And now I'm gonna give you some tips. So first of all, practice mindfulness. Take a few deep breaths. That has helped me a lot. And notice your behavior and feeling without judgment or reaction. What I do is that I take some minutes on a daily basis, and I do it because I didn't know how to handle it, and I find this very helpful. Number two, label affect. This is a neuroscience way of saying name what you're feeling. I'm feeling nervous, anxious, stressed, overwhelmed, because that's the first thing you have to do when you're feeling stressed. Then you can reframe your thoughts, shift your mindset to look at your current situation from a different perspective. For example, your stressful situation from a different as a challenge you have been prepared to overcome. And then shift to excitement. This works a lot. From a biological perspective, feeling anxious is nearly the same as feeling excited. Quick respiration, dilated eyes, sweaty palms, fast heartbeat, and those are the things that you have to be aware of. And now something that has helped me a lot too is some essential oils. I use lavender when I'm feeling stressed, so you can use it and put it in your behind your ears and also in your hands, like right here. And yeah, that would be it. I hope you find this information very helpful and hope you can have it in consideration.